Well, hello everyone. It's more Adelaide Fringe time, and I'm zooming in the jungle, this time all the way over to Perth, where I'm speaking to Jens Radda. Hey, Jan, how are you?
I'm so good. It's 7:30 a.m. in the morning here in Perth, and I am ready.
Look at you giving me hair composition as well, though, right?
Oh, look, I'm being serious, I actually just woke up like this. So there's some good linen here in the hotel, and it's done wonders for my hair.
There's some good volume. Hey, now Adelaide Fringe is obviously fast approaching. It's only a good, well, 2, 3 weeks away. You have got a show called Madame Martha's Parisian Cabaret. It's going to be running from the 4th to the 9th of March. In Gluttony at the Kingfisher. What is Madame Martha's Parisian Cabaret all about, Jens?
So I will use a phrase described by one of our audience members because it best encapsulates it. Vogue posing, fossy popping, French lace drenched drag children of Piaf.
Well, I mean, who can argue with that? That's
I
everything.
We loved it so much that we've actually snatched parts of that and put it in our like marketing blurb because we feel like it just so beautifully encapsulated the camp silliness of, the drag parts that we do, but also we do a lot of French music, but reimagined with like a modern and saucy twist. And so yeah, it's really just cabaret, drag, burlesque mixed together with a beautiful story and campery.
Fabulous. Tick, tick, tick. Um, hey, so the show, how long has the show been around for, Jens?
We actually first started the show, my partner, Ivor Rosebud and I. So we're partners on stage and off. I know it's a crazy household. We we were in Adelaide Fringe and we went to one of the Hive events, so the Mingle events where you talk to, delegates and producers. And we met this lovely lady from Hotter on the Gold Coast who we kind of got along with really well. And she essentially uh, asked us if we wanted to create a show for this underground festival that they were doing on the Gold Coast, which was a new kind of trialing thing. And this girl, Danny, was essentially producing and programming this show. And she wanted something grungy. She wanted like a variety show, but it didn't want not to feel like a variety show with, cool acts, some local acts. And so essentially we created this new show, which at the time was called Hush for that festival. And we brought on our great friend Meg Hickey, who I've known since we were teenagers on the Sunshine Coast, to create the show. And then we had two local artists as well. And essentially afterwards we reflected and said, this is amazing. This show is really special. We can't just, let it fizzle away. And then we decided to do a season at Adelaide Fringe the following year because that's, where it started. And we did that at 1910 and it went really well. And so then we said, let's do it in our hometown of Melbourne. And then we won the best cabaret over the whole festival. And so that's just been the story of what was Hush Cabaret turned Madame Martha's. And now here we are doing it's our fourth iteration at Adelaide Fringe. And we're so excited because that's kind of where the show was born. That's where we met this lovely Danny from Hotter. And now the show is won Best Cabaret and it's just completely exploded.
And look, your reviews just get 5 stars over and over and over. And there's another show we're going to talk about very shortly as well. But before we get on to that, tell me about the origins of the name Madame Martha's Parisian Cabaret. Where did that come from?
It's actually an interesting story because my partner Ivor and I both studied at a clown school in France called Goliath. I've been 3 times since 2017. I've, dropped in and dropped out. And we went a couple of years ago, and it's a drag club in the city, and it's been there for decades. And there's kind of these amazing, nouveau avant-garde drag queens who sing live with an accordion, and it's a raucous night, and it's crazy, and it's amazing. And that place is called Madame Arthur's, which is based on a French song about, you know, kind of a woman who maybe has a little secret or a woman with a little bit extra. So That's, you know, the wink of the French drag, or travesty as they call it. And so because we have such heavy French themes, kind of, you know, ironically, but also quite beautifully, we wanted to name it something French, and we wanted to take a spin on them, the Madame Arthurs. So we thought, let's double down and go with Madame Martha's, which had been, you know, floating around for a long time, and it just felt right.
Now, the other show that we were talking about, or that I just made a bit of a nod towards, actually was here for Adelaide Fringe, I believe it was last year. It is called Skank Sinatra. Why did you want to bring that one back again for us this year?
Well, I won the Cabaret Weekly Award with Skank Sinatra last year, so I thought I got to come back to win the overall award, right? And
Yeah.
I've had some new costumes, a few little, you know, touch-ups, a glow up here and there, possibly a few big moments. So yeah, got to show the Adelaide audiences what, you know, has happened to the show. It's fantastic. And Adelaide Fringe, if you're not bringing a show to Adelaide Fringe, what are you doing?
Exactly. So how is Skank Sinatra different to Madame Martha's show?
Skank Sinatra is my solo show, and I talk a bit about my life, all wrapped up in crazy glamour of a drag Sinatra songstress. It's reimagined, twisty versions of, I guess, well-loved Sinatra songs, but really with my personal spin on it. And I've been touring that around the world, went to Edinburgh, and 2025's got some amazing things coming up as well for it. I'm going to Wales, possibly Sweden, and then obviously around Australia. And so those are my two little babies. Skank Sinatra's mine, and then Madame Martha's is really a trio effort between me, Ivor Rosebud, and Meg Hickey. And it gets lonely touring your own solo show. And so kind of having those two makes it just such a joyous experience. For example, in Adelaide, I'm not going to be there alone this year. I'll be there with Madame Martha's and my bestie as well, my partner and a bestie. My partner's my bestie too.
Yeah, I like that. And it should be that way. It should be that way. Now, what we need to mention about your drag work, which makes it even more exceptional, is that you sing live. It is your voice that we are hearing in your shows, which is wonderful. And your voice is just dreamy. My gosh. How did you first get into the entertainment industry as a performer?
Straight from high school, I went to a drama school called WAPA here in Perth, funny enough, and I studied music theatre. So I went gung-ho. Since maybe grade 10, I decided, okay, I'm going to take this, you know, to the tertiary level. I want to be professional in performing. And it was music theatre was the canon at that time. And so I just did, you know, full-time singing, dancing, and acting. And I went straight to Perth, did 3 years at the wonderful WAPA. And then I did, you know, the auditions. I did the musical auditions. I got a couple of little TV moments here and there, which was great, possibly an adult film or two, but we won't get into that. I'm kidding. And essentially, I started hosting variety shows with my great friend Nick Hasselman in Sydney, and that was kind of popping off. A lot of artists were saying, "You're great at this, you should host more." And then I started doing more cabaret things, and then essentially it just naturally evolved that cabaret was the space where, you know, sometimes you do things in life and it just flows and things come easily and naturally. Music theatre was like, I had to work really, really hard to get halfway as close as some people were, you know, just nailing it. And I was okay. But cabaret, that was my canon. And so that's how I kind of was born into that. But I always started in music theatre, you know.
So, last question for you is, what is it about the Adelaide Fringe that you absolutely love and that you must be a part of?
It's the people. It's the people. The first year I did Adelaide Fringe was 2023. And I had felt a little bit lost, I guess, career and industry-wise, but also a little bit, you know, in my soul. And then when I was there in someone else's show, so it was a show called Reclaiming Harry, and I was performing in it, produced, directed, written by someone else. I was kind of, I guess, just a cast member, but it was awesome. And I realized, okay, these are my people, and I want to, you know, really just spend the rest of my life having these people in my sphere and working with them, and the artists, the delegates, the audiences, just everyone that comes and works or does anything Adelaide Fringe related are second to none. And I've done now Fringes around the whole world. I've done Sydney Fringe, Perth Fringe, Edinburgh Fringe, done more Fringes, I can't remember, Melbourne Fringe, and they're all amazing. But Adelaide has something really special. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all my friends soon.
Jens, I lied. I actually did lie, Jens. I said that was the last question, but there is one more. When you get to Adelaide, apart from performing your shows and seeing other people's shows, because it's a great big catch up, really, isn't it? The Adelaide Fringe. We get to see all of our friends from all over the world on our yearly catch up. But apart from all that hoo-ha, what is one thing that you're really looking forward to when you get to Adelaide, whether it be the beaches, a cafe, a restaurant, a bar? What is it?
Oh, I'm really I'm really looking forward to having my vocal unloading done from my favorite vocal physio in the country. Her name escapes me, but she's amazing, and she's in Adelaide. It's a very niche thing, and Melbourne is kind of the hub of where people do vocal physio, but in Adelaide, you've got the best in the country, and I love her.
Now I'm
What's
intrigued.
her
I need
name?
to know who that is. You need to text me that later. I need to know.
I will. Because it's essentially it's physio, but it's all the musculatory things around that affect the voice. So she goes in your tongue, she does intense, like deep tissue on your tongue, your jaw, your neck, everything around there. It's sore, but it feels amazing, and it's seriously, it works a miracle.
Sweet. Well, it must be working a miracle because your voice is outstanding, and everyone needs to get along and experience your show if they have never seen one before, because you are a dynamite. And I'm super looking forward to seeing the new show, which is called Madame Martha's Parisian Cabaret. But I also will get along to see Skank Sinatra as well. So everyone get onto the adelaidefringe.com.au website, Google, search for those two show names. Jens Radda, what an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. And I cannot wait to catch up with you when you hit Adelaide.
Can't wait to get a coffee or maybe a beveragino. Thanks, Marcus.
Sounds fabulous. All right, my friends. Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.